My name's Dave DeBow, founder of MoneyPartnerFormula.com, and this show is built for everyday real estate investors who are actively doing deals and looking to scale using other people's money. So if you're an active real estate investor and you want to get featured on this show to talk about your own real estate and capital raising experiences, then just go to daveinterviewsyou.com. Now let's get rolling with this episode, and remember to subscribe for daily interview content. Hey everyone, welcome back. Today, zooming in from Raleigh, North Carolina, we've got a very experienced real estate investor who's in the long-term and short-term rental business. We've got Mr. Suresh Bhagchandani. Welcome to the show. Great to have you.
Thank you, Dave. I am very, very excited for this.
I'm glad to have you here. So give us a little snapshot of what does real estate investing look like for you. So just give us an idea of what does the portfolio look like right now? So how many units total, maybe how many properties, because I know you got single family homes, you got some multifamily as well. And maybe just an idea of what percentage or how many are long-term versus short-term rentals.
Thanks, Dave. So currently we have 15 units, and out of those 15, 10 are actually long-term, and then the rest are actually short-term rentals like Airbnbs. We are actually under contract for a multi-unit piece where it's actually new construction of a condominium. So we were able to negotiate a wholesale price for like 2 floors, like per door. So we're supposed to close that in March. So we're really, really
So
excited.
how many units in that deal?
So it's actually 9 units. So they are
Nice.
5 in one, and then 4, and then obviously they had like one with like a facility closet or whatever. So we kind of missed out on that. But yeah, they're 9 units altogether.
9 units. So the new ones that you're going to be closing on, long-term rentals or short-term
Yeah,
rentals or a mix?
no, 100% long-term rentals. That's the
Got it.
plan. Yeah.
Got it. Very good. And how long have you been investing in real estate for?
Since 2012
Okay,
is
good.
where I started.
Good.
Yeah.
Nice. And what initially sparked that interest in real estate investing, Suresh?
2 things: financial freedom, and obviously you get to hear this term, like, you need 7 streams of income to be a millionaire. When I started actually after college, and I actually do have a full-time job. I am actually a senior manager for tax sales, as well too on part of like doing real estate. So that's where it actually kind of sort of started. Like, if I need to be on that side of the town, like I need to have more streams of income than just having a 9-to-5 job. And that's where the plane just kind of took off.
Very good. Interesting. All right. So did you start off with long-term rentals? I'm assuming yes. And then did you move into short-term rentals, or how did that kind of progress?
We started with long-term rentals. There's been like lots and lots of learning stories behind it. We started with like condos, and then some of these condos were getting bought out by like PE shops. And then we quickly realized that condo is really not a strategy. We need to get into like townhomes and like single families, like detached units. And then once you kind of are getting into a piece and you've done rinse and repeat like over and over, you get pretty good at it and you figure out the numbers. You're like, okay, this still makes sense. And then you're like trying to figure out like, okay, what else could I do? And then quickly you figure out like, all right, Airbnb and actually vacation rentals are like key because they are very lucrative and I don't want to leave money on the table. And that's where we go on that part. And then obviously from there, and the key is like you start with one, but you got to like save up your money to actually buy the next one and then keep going. And that's where that whole multi-unit one is actually coming into fusion for us, because for those kind of deals, like you need to have some sort of financial backing or some sort of like money to actually spend. So that's where how the portfolio keeps growing.
Got it. All right. Now you've got the 15 units, you're going to be adding on 9 more. That's exciting. So bang, over a 50% increase in your portfolio size in one transaction. So where are these properties? Are they all in and around Raleigh, or are they kind of all over the place?
So majority of them are in Raleigh, a few of them are in Durham, some of them are around like Selma, North Carolina.
So you
If
got
you're
to give
familiar
me
with that state.
I'm not
Yeah.
familiar with the state. So how far away from where you are?
I would say no less than 2 hours drive.
Okay.
Really,
So do you
less than 2
self-manage
hours.
everything, Suresh?
The Airbnbs I do. The other ones I have a property manager for it. So I have multiple different property managers depending on who I can work out, and then they kind of manage that piece for me.
Right. Very good. All right. So it sounds like you're progressing like many investors do from single family properties. Now you're starting to look at multifamily properties. What are you looking at doing over the next, let's say 12 to 18 months? What are your goals?
12 to 18 months, like one of my 2025, 2026 goal is try to get into like some sort of a commercial side of it, because I do want to learn and kind of get better into it. and get into like shopping center or some sort of real estate for commercial. That's actually my goal.
Okay,
And
so not
obviously
necessarily commercial residential, commercial retail,
commercial as
commercial
well too. Yeah.
industrial, that sort of thing.
Yeah. I would probably, Dave, get into like some sort of rebalancing for my portfolio. And that's something I did like during pandemic because
Mhm.
a lot of times like, they kind of grow a lot of equity and you've kind of written off all the depreciation. It's probably time to like sell and move on because there are a lot of other opportunities that you can get into it now that
Mm.
you probably could not get into it before pandemic because the cash flow was like tight. So
Yeah.
yeah, that's probably what I would do like right around end of 2025 is probably rebalance some of the portfolio and say, well, let's get rid of a couple of these properties and like try to move into that side of the business.
Okay, very good. So, Suresh, it sounds like you're kind of a one-man army right now. Have you self-financed all of these properties?
Yes,
Oh, that's
self-financed
very
all of
good.
them. Yes.
Congratulations. That's
Thank you.
must be
Actually,
going
it's
good
me
at
and
the,
my wife and my 5-year-old kid. So I don't
well,
want
of
to take any
course.
credits away from them. So they are part of that. They're part of this work too. So
Are
yes.
you putting, well, I'm glad to hear you're putting that kid to work. I mean, about time.
Yeah, I've
He's
already
five
started
already.
teaching him.
He should be earning his keep.
Yes, he has his chores. Like if he does some things, like he knows he gets his rent. So he has to pay them back, like mommy and daddy.
All right, very good. So, have you kind of explored any particular asset classes that you want to get into in the commercial space? I think you mentioned maybe, did you say strip malls or what are you looking at?
So strip shopping center is one option that I'm actually exploring and trying to figure it out. The second option is like commercial retail side of it.
Hmm.
So I'm not sure if you're the model of like CVS and those guys, like, they'll probably build it out and they kind of like sell this out and they kind of have a fixed rent. Out of those, like that kind of model is what I'm trying to actually figure out and
Hmm.
see like, hey, if I can have like some investors into it, probably because it's tough. Like I shouldn't say that. I just have this like pet peeve of like getting involved and being like a co-owner of something because
Hmm.
I don't know. I just have this thing where like, if I can own it, then I don't want to be part of it because if you don't get along with that person or whatever their financial situation is, mine is different,
Yeah.
then we're just like into that situation. So I just try to kind of keep it solo and say,
Yeah, it definitely can complicate things. That's for sure, Suresh. Dealing with multiple decision makers, having to split up the pie, all of that kind of stuff. Uh, Having to ask permission for things, people
yes,
wanting out of the deal earlier rather than later. So there's some downsides to it, but also the upsides can be huge. Like every single very, very successful real estate investor I've ever interviewed has worked with investors or partners of some sort. And there definitely are ways that you can structure things so that, yes, they bring in their capital, but you are the decision maker. Like you
100%.
don't, I mean, if you're doing joint ventures and that sort of thing smaller, then yeah, they probably do have to have some sort of decision making capacity there, but you can still control a lot of that as the active member on the team. So yeah, don't let
It's
that
funny how,
scare you off
Dave,
too
you
much.
mentioned the part of it, and it kind of brings me an idea of like getting a mentor for that piece. And
Yeah.
I actually have an active mentor because you're right. You're 100% right. Like if you have somebody who can kind of sort of like walk you that path, because like somebody like you who has been through this. So if you're mentoring somebody, then you know like, okay, I can actually step up and actually do this part. Then just kind of
Yeah,
do.
what I would definitely recommend, Suresh, is figure out what asset class specifically you'll want to focus on, and then ideally find a mentor who's doing that
Yep,
with investors, right? Because then you get the full meal deal. You get to learn how to invest in that asset class and how to promote that asset class to potential investors, work with investors, work with somebody who's already done what you want to do, because then you can just skip that learning curve and probably avoid a lot of the concerns you've got in your head right now. Because guess what? That guy or that gal's already been through that.
agreed.
They know
Yeah,
how it works. So it's any money you invest in good coaching or mentoring from somebody who's doing exactly what you want to do is is money very, very well spent, money well invested for
100%,
sure.
100%
Yeah.
agreed. Yes.
Very cool. All right. So that's what you're looking to do and doing over the next 12 to 18 months. That's very, very cool. So, long term, what are your goals with real estate? Like, are you enjoying your job? You want to keep doing that, or do you want to become a full time real estate entrepreneur down the road, or what are your aspirations?
I would love to be 100% real estate
Yeah.
investor. Like that's
Well, hey, you
typically
know
looking
what?
at down the line.
You're like I have no idea what your cash flow situation is with the real estate and all that kind of stuff, but you're definitely well on your way, my friend. I know a lot of,
Sometimes they call it as the golden handcuffs that
yeah, for sure.
it's like a lot of money to leave on the table to kind of do that.
Yeah.
And obviously, like I have a kid who's like 5 year old, so it's not like a bad gig. I mean, it's a great gig, and obviously, like I do work hard at the job. But yeah, I mean, down the line, I think that's what I see myself doing 100%, and probably just like getting into that piece full on.
Yeah. Well, hey, like I say, you're well on your way if that is what your goal is.
Mhm.
And especially once you dial it in with where you know exactly what kind of niche you want to focus on, get that training, to get that coaching, get two or three of those kind of properties under your belt, then start really dialing in the attracting investors, raising capital, because then you can just grow so much faster. Like you don't have to save up for 2, 3, 5 years or
Oh
refinance a
yeah,
bunch of properties or anything like that to get into the next deal. You get those investors lined up, they put in all the money, and depending on the size of the deal, you still get a very, very significant cut of the pie, right?
yes,
And you're able to
yes,
do more of those kind of deals. And then the more time you can free up to focus on real estate, the more the snowball can grow. That's just what I've
yes,
seen over the years for sure.
100%. You're right. Yes.
Awesome, Suresh. Well, hey, it sounds like you're up to good things. Sounds like you've got great plans and great goals. If people are listening or watching this and say, hey, that guy sounds like a sharp cookie, I'd like to connect with him. Where should they go? What should they do?
LinkedIn.com. My full name, Suresh Bhagchandani. Feel free to connect with me on that.
Fantastic. Well, hey, Suresh, thanks for being on the interview. It's been a lot of fun, and I wish you the very, very best for 2025.
Thank you so much, Dave. Glad to be on the show.
All right, everybody, take care, and we'll see you on the next episode. Bye bye.
Sure. Bye, everyone.
Hey there, I really hope you enjoyed that episode. And as always, if you want to listen to more daily interview content, make sure you subscribe. And if you're an active real estate investor and you're doing deals and you'd like to get featured on this show, then just head over to daveinterviewyou.com. Now at moneypartnerformula.com, we help real estate investors to create a process for predictably getting capital so they can do more deals without relying on hard money lenders or the banks. We do this by building them a private capital marketing system. Now, if you want help turning yourself into a big money capital attraction machine, then book a call with our team to see how we can help. Just visit moneypartnerformula.com to find out more. All right, take care, and we'll see you on the next interview.